Hi guys, welcome back to another video. It's Dan here from Sportscards UK, and in today's video we're looking at some vintage slash pre-modern, probably mostly pre-modern football stickers that I've been picking up. This is a shipment from Sweden, of all places. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video and let's see what what stickers I've been picking up from eBay this month. Right, okay, so for I've got in a habit of like going for package number one because I'm so obsessed with doing Mail Monday videos. But here we go. So there are 12 total stickers in this particular package, so it's a big video. I have decided to create or dedicate a specific video to this as opposed to doing it on a Mail Monday. But I'm very, very excited to show you what's in here. And all of these cards, all of them are going to get graded by SGC. So let me find my little tool. Oh, the missus isn't nicked it, is she? There it is. Sorry, Liz, didn't mean to blame you. Right. Here we go. Okay, so I'm trying not to reveal what's in here, but you can see obviously the first sticker. So we'll start with that one. See if I can open this off camera so that you don't see what's in here totally. Very well packaged, so he's going to get a nice review. I need to do combined shipping, of course, because otherwise I would have spent far too much money on shipping. Always check if they do combined shipping. If they don't do combined shipping, a lot of the time it's not going to be worth it if you're ordering from Europe. Right, so let's start off. He's put these in top loaders quite nicely actually. So let's and some of these cards were just so cheap, and I thought, well, because considering he's doing combined shipping, and there's a few that I was going after. Not all of the cards that I wanted to actually get I won. So there was a few that I missed, but anyway, let's start off with sticker number one. Now, this first sticker that I've gone for is a nice early Fabio Cannavaro. Now, this is one of his, I believe this could be one of his first tournaments, if not first tournament. I haven't done too much research into the actual stickers themselves. I believe this is one of the earliest tournaments, but it's a really, really nice condition Euro 2000. Which was, I can't remember where was Euro 2000? I have to double check. I can't remember where Euro 2000 was. I've got the stuff on my hands, I think, from that package. But if you don't know, Fabio Cannavaro was the 2006 World Cup winner. He was probably one of the best centre-backs I've ever seen play the game. In my opinion, that Italian team that won the 2006 World Cup was one of the most exciting, strongest defensive teams I've ever seen. And I think the 2006 World Cup was kind of like very special to me. It's the one that I kind of really remember watching, and the first one that I really remember watching. But also, it's the first sticker album that I actually completed. Obviously, this isn't from the 2006 sticker album. This is an earlier one. But Fabio Cannavaro was a centre back that I always kind of I thought was absolutely brilliant. In the 2006 days, I think he was bald at the time. He didn't have as much hair as he did here. But he famously played for, I remember him playing for Juventus for a year or two. Then he left to join Real Madrid, and then he went back to Juventus. And I think most recently he's managed China. So he's had some managerial spells as well as being a football player. But yeah, really, really nice one. I never recommend that you invest in centre backs. I really didn't pay a lot for that particular sticker at all. We're talking £2-3, something similar to that. But if you could pick up a kind of a first tournament sticker or something like that of a football player that you like, by all means go for it. Now, So sticker number 2, we straight off with a banger. I mentioned in a recent Mail Monday, I don't have that many Johan Cruyff cards, and I'm really looking to bulk up my Johan Cruyff collection because he is he's one of the greatest football players to ever play the game. So this is Johan Cruyff at Ajax. So as you know, he started his career at Ajax. He's won 3 Ballon d'Ors. I want to say 2 of them were consecutive. And then I think it might, don't quote me on this, I think it's like 70, 72, 74, something like that, were his Ballon d'Or winning years. And this is a Football VM 74 album sticker. Blimey, someone's on the horn there. Beautiful looking sticker, really, really nice. And not in the worst condition. So the front of it is very nice. Obviously the corners aren't sharp, but there's really no marks on it at all, really. So this is going to go straight off to SGC. I'm really, really excited to have this in an SGC case. And I think generally, if you can get anything of Johan Cruyff in an Ajax kit, really you can't go wrong. Obviously, after I think it was around 74, he moved to Barcelona, and he spent a lot of his time at Barcelona. But any kind of Ajax kit that you can get of Johan Cruyff, I think is a good buy personally. And there's some cheaper ends. You can get the FKS sticker, I think it is, or the FKS card sticker thing. You have to glue it, so it's not, I guess it's a sticker and it's kind of not. That is something that is kind of on the cheaper end. But if you go right towards his rookie, I think it's 1970, something like that. Might even be pre-70s. I think it's 1970. I can put it up on screen somewhere here. I know Joe JMS picked up one recently, or not that recently, but he's had one in his collection. And it's one that I want to go after. It's like him in a kind of I'm pretty sure he's got a track jacket, a blue track jacket. So that'd be a nice one to own of his. Now, next up, we have another Italian. We've got Gheorghe Hagi. Now, this guy was part of the Grande Inter team, which was one of the kind of most dominant teams we've seen in the Serie A. He's actually a left back, so I believe he's got a statue outside the Inter Milan ground, but he's one of the sort of a well-recognised player as being one of Inter Milan's best ever players. I'm pretty sure he stayed true to his club. I don't think he went anywhere else. I'd have to double fact check on that, but I'm pretty sure he spent his entire career at Inter Milan. I will have to double check that. But Inter Milan absolutely love this guy as a player. And this is a Panini Calciatori 1968. Around sort of 68 time, you had Luigi Riva, you had Gianni Riva as well. So you had quite Gigi Riva and Gianni Riva. You had quite a few good players around 1968. So especially in the Serie A, I think that was kind of where the Serie. Blimey, I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but there's the squeakiest train going past. That couldn't be any more annoying. Thankfully, that's gone. Right, okay. Yeah, so Gheorghe Hagi, I actually spoke about, and I don't know if many people saw this because I didn't actually get the full video clip because Steve at the Football Stop, he doesn't, I know he doesn't do YouTube anymore and he took his Instagram page down. I never actually asked why. I never really got in contact with him. I don't think I've had any contact with him. I only had contact with him on Instagram. But me and him did a joint podcast on my Spotify and iTunes where we discussed a team of 11 players, vintage football players, that people wouldn't normally think about, and we would discuss the reasons why we picked those particular players. He went with a few more commonly known players. I think he picked Moore and Beckenbauer as his centre-backs. But I did go completely left with the entire thing, and I picked some really interesting players that I think you might not have heard of. And Fekete was actually my left-back that I picked. I had Reisbeck in there. I'm trying to think who else I had. I had this Greek player who's the Greek Maradona. I had some really, really interesting players. But actually Fekete was my left back. And because I didn't actually... I spoke to Steve and I was trying to find the cards that he was referencing, and I couldn't actually find the pictures of the cards. I never actually made the video because I didn't think it was good enough to produce as a video without actually showing the pictures of the cards. But the podcast is still available. So if you are interested in listening to that, I did really enjoy that podcast. I think that's really good. But it maybe went under the radar a little bit because there wasn't a video of it. But yeah, Fekete, since making that video, I think I referenced this particular card, or maybe his rookie, which this isn't. I kind of wanted to pick one up, and I saw the chance to, so I did. Now this is another one. This is Gheorghe Rivera. He only played for 2 teams, but the majority of his career he spent at Cagliari, which I think he spent like 10, 11, 12 years at. And he's widely renowned as one of the greatest strikers to ever play the game. Again, he was a Ballon d'Or runner-up, but he didn't actually win the Ballon d'Or because I think it was 1968. It was Rivera. Sorry, not Rivera. It was... I've got his card here. What's his name? I'm ruining it for the video. It was Gianni Rivera. Rivera won the Ballon d'Or, and Rivera got the runner-up. So he never actually won a Ballon d'Or, but he's still considered one of the greatest strikers of the game. I'm sure he's had Legends cards or Icon cards on FIFA. And that's kind of like, I know it sounds silly, but that's kind of a good way to kind of look at Legends, is go on FIFA or go past FIFAs and look at some of the Legends Icons cards. I think they used to call them Legends. Maybe they have always been called Icons. But look at the Icon cards and look at some of the players and just kind of do a little bit of research on some of the players. I'm sure... well, Cruyff has definitely had one. Cannavaro's had one. And I'm sure Rivera's probably had one as well. Yeah, definitely wanted to own a card of his. This is way off his rookie. This is the 1973 to 74 Calciatore. But I don't own any cards of his whatsoever, so I wanted to pick up this sticker. And it's in not the best condition, but I think there's certain things that you can just bypass. When you get to a card that's in the 70s or a sticker that's in the 70s, of course it's going to yellow on the back. Of course the corners are going to be a little bit softened and maybe dinged. But I think this is probably as good as... I mean, it's not a PSA 10, but I mean, how many PSA 10s are there of Calciatore 1973? It's probably not that many. So as condition goes, I think this is a particularly nice one. Now, next up, we have a partner of Johan Cruyff at Ajax and also Barcelona. This was the last season, I think, that Neeskens played for Ajax before moving. I think he moved to Barcelona in 1974. And the partnership of Neeskens and Johan Cruyff was probably one of the greatest partnerships of all time. The two sort of midfielder wingers were basically unplayable at Barcelona and won pretty much everything. There's a funny story about him actually deciding to leave Barcelona because he had an argument over run out of toilet roll, which is a kind of a really interesting reason to leave Barcelona. But his time at Ajax and his time at Barcelona was second to none if you kind of look into Neeskens a little bit more. And again, it was one where I didn't own any cards of his, and I thought it matches up really nicely with the Johan Cruyff to have these two together, the kind of the partnership, and then the two stickers / cards from the same set, I think was pretty cool. So these were probably the two most expensive cards out of the set of cards that I purchased, probably by a long while, but really happy to have these in the collection, and I'm really excited to send those off to SGC and see what those come out as. Now, next up, we're kind of going into some pre-modern now. We have a Ronaldo Inter Milan. Obviously, if you're looking at Ronaldo, you want to go for his PSV stuff, all his rookie years, sort of, I think it's 1995, 1994, around that sort of time is where you'll find his PSV Eindhoven stickers and cards. This is from 1998, so it's a 1998 to 99 sticker. I still think personally with R9 you can't go wrong with Inter Milan stuff. When you start to get into 99 and you go to the Barcelona stuff, the prices tend to dip a little bit until you go into like real kind of rare Mundi Chromo sets that are high grade, low pop. And what I mean by that is high grade as in high PSA, SGC, high grading grades. And low pop means low population, so there's not that many of them that have been graded either at all or as high as the one that you're after. So it's not always about rookies. It does scarcity does count as well, so that's something to keep in mind. But this is a very common sticker, but it's just in very good condition in my opinion. So again, this is another one for SGC. I'm trying to pick up more R9s. I'm trying to pick up Cruyff. I'm really looking at kind of legends that I don't own that many cards of. I'm really trying to focus on not buying duplicates of cards that I own, but sell a lot of the modern stuff that I've got so that I can get into pre-modern and vintage as well. Really want to kind of be set up at future card shows with SGC graded vintage. I kind of want that to be my niche. And I think sort of this particular bulk of cards that I've purchased is kind of getting me along that way. Now, next up, we have a Palmer card of Buffon. Now, this isn't his rookie. I've got his rookie actually to hand up at the top here somewhere. Oh, let me see if I can find it. So this is his rookie. So this is the rookie for Buffon. I've mentioned this in a recent video actually, because this is a recent pickup on Mail Monday. So this is the 1995 to 96 Calciatore. And then this is the 1998. So it's the third year, I guess you could call it, Palmer card or Palmer sticker of his. But Buffon, in my opinion, is probably the best keeper that I've ever seen. Neuer's probably, I feel like Neuer's like on par or maybe just below. I don't know. There's something, I don't know. For me, there's like some special thing about Buffon that just wants me to put Buffon higher. But the way Neuer used to come out all the time so far off his line and make clearances was really exciting. So they kind of have things over each other, but I think Buffon for me just tips Neuer. And so I know Buffon cards outside of his rookie don't have that much value, but the stuff in his Palmer, in the Palmer kits, I think will have a tiny bit of value. And I think it's great for Italian collectors and Buffon fans, whichever team he played for that you support. Now, next up, we have a beautiful sticker of Paolo Rossi. I do actually own the Paolo Rossi second year, which I think is 1976, something like that, where he was actually on loan. But this is a kind of an older card of his. This is him at Juventus, and this is 1984. So it's nowhere near his rookie. But it is just a really, really nice card of Paolo Rossi. And unfortunately, we lost Paolo Rossi last year. He died actually towards the end of, I think it was 2020. Was it 20? It might have been 2020 actually he passed. I'll have to remember. But he passed the same year as, almost I think it might have been in the same month as Maradona. So it was really sad to lose those two legends at once. But obviously this guy won the World Cup. He's won Ballon d'Ors, or at least one Ballon d'Or. And he's probably regarded as one of the greatest midfielders, central midfielders of all time. An absolute wizard on the ball, and very, very, very exciting player. Now, next up we have Gheorghe Hagi, or Jorge. I think it's Jorge. It's not Jorge. It might be Jorge. It might be Gheorghe Hagi. I knew at one point how to pronounce his name, but my brain's mush because it's the weekend filming this. Very famous player, played for Galatasaray, and he played for a year or two at Barcelona as well. He actually played, I think he played for Galatasaray, and then he managed them over two separate seasons. He had a bit of time in between where he was managing a team or two teams. But yeah, a Romanian player, but spent a bit of time in Turkey, obviously looking at Galatasaray. And this is one of his early tournament stickers. This is an Italian 90 sticker. I love Italian 90. I think the backs are very, very boring for Italian 90 personally, but I do quite like the card designs. I think they're almost quite plain, but I think they do focus on the player, and there's not too much focus away from the player. I do quite like the sort of the team flags, and then you've got the Italian 90 logo up at the top, and then where it actually says Italian 90, and then you've got the kind of the matching border as well with the name of the country that he plays for. But yeah, his son's actually playing for, he's got a son who's a professional football player who's currently playing for, or at least was, I think still is playing for Rangers at the moment. Now, next up, I think this is the only card that I purchased that's not sports cards. This is a Marlon Brando card. If you haven't seen The Godfather, it is, in my opinion, one of the greatest films of all time. And this is not, I don't think it's a Marlon Brando rookie, but it is certainly an older card of his. And this is really, really nice. I just decided to pick this up. I think it cost me about £2. So I couldn't even tell you what set it's from. I believe it's one of the Swedish sets. But an absolute beautiful sticker that I really don't know that, or card that I don't know that much about. But I obviously do know about Marlon Brando. I think he's one of the greatest actors we've ever seen. One of the GOATs of the acting world. And for a couple of quid, I thought I can do my research after I purchased that. It was on bids, and I just threw in a bid, and I don't think anyone outbid me. And then same with this one. You've got Rummenigge for Germany and Bayern Munich. Again, a midfielder that was one of the greatest of all time. I think he was a midfielder. He was a centre attacking midfielder, potentially. Nowhere near his rookie. This is kind of one of, I guess, an older card, I think, of Rummenigge. This is the Euro Football 82. Again, I'd have to remind myself of the rookie, but this was one of the ones that no one else bid on, so I just stuck a couple of quid on it. I thought he's a player that everyone kind of talks about. He's one that's on my list in terms of the rookies that I'm going after, and I thought I'd just pick this up. It might go off to SGC. I might just sell this raw. I don't know yet. I probably will send this off to SGC for the sort of 30 quid submission, and probably move that on. A lot of these cards I think I will move on. As I said in previous videos, I am kind of trying to become a little bit more detached to cards. What I'm kind of focused on is owning the cards, taking pictures of them and having them in my collection, and kind of having that memory of having them in my collection, but then moving them on so there's different cards that I can have and hold in my collection. And I think something that you should always think about if you're an investor of cards is you can always rebuy that card. You can always buy that card back. And that's something to really think about. If you try and keep everything, which is the biggest mistake that I have done with sports cards, and some people might be like, why don't you do sports cards full time? Part of it is because it's definitely harder to make sports cards full time without a business around sports cards. If you're not producing top loaders or penny sleeves, or you're not a seller of actual sealed wax, I think it's quite difficult to become a full-time seller of sports cards in the UK. The scenes, we've had very few card shows to be able to do that, and I think card shows are pivotal in terms of being able to sell cards full-time and being able to kind of buy, trade, sell. But I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever had is that I tried to keep too many cards, and I've tried to keep everything. And because I have done that, I've made losses on certain cards. Specifically, actually, American sports. I've held on cards for too long, and either the cards dip, there's injuries, and I'm holding on to players like Ronald Acuna Jr., for example, who's had this injury for quite a long time. And I'm holding on to cards of his because I don't want to sell them now when he's injured, when I know I can make a profit when he's back playing fit. So sports cards investing is a lot about timing, but it's also about not being out, almost detaching yourself away from cards and stickers so that you can sell things on, you can move things on. And as Roth Cards, who's someone that I watch a lot, always says, you'll never go broke making a profit. And I think that is really, really true in terms of sports cards investing. If you're a collector and you've got loads of money to spend, buy whatever you like. I mean, buy what you enjoy, buy what you think looks great, buy the teams and the players that you like. But when it comes to investing, you just can't own everything. And you almost have to kind of detach your love for certain things if you want to kind of keep things moving and kind of keep an inventory flowing of in and out and all the time. So yeah, something to think about. Now, the final card before after I've just given you that kind of waffling statement, is a Rivera, which I've been speaking about. I mentioned a couple of times. This is actually the year he won the European Championship with AC Milan. This is the 1968 Valida. I think it might have been the year he won the Ballon d'Or as well. Again, it's not a rookie of his, but I just don't own any cards of Rivera, and I really, really wanted to own one. And I thought this was in particularly good condition for a Valida 1968. I have mentioned in old videos, if you haven't seen my old videos, there are two types of cards for the Calciatori 68 and before, I think. You've got the Valida, and you've got the Bas Vilda. And so in Italy, what you would do is you would trade these cards in. A Valida is 1 point, essentially, and a Bas Vilda is 2 points. And so you would trade the stickers in, and then eventually, if you saved up enough stickers, you could trade them in for things like team kits, scarves, footballs, sort of memorabilia, that sort of thing. So a lot of these cards were actually given away, were swapped in playgrounds, that sort of thing. So kind of cards in this condition of Valida and Bas Vilda aren't always the easiest to find. So when you can find one of a player that you really like, I think it's worth pulling the trigger. So there we go. 12 cards of some fantastic players and Marlon Brando. But let me know if you did enjoy this video. I obviously don't make too many of these videos because they can become quite expensive. But this is one video that I've been extremely excited about. And I can't wait to send these off to SGC, and which will be kind of on a 3x3 basis per month. So you won't see a kind of a complete submission of these to SGC just yet. As I said, I am saving a lot of money up. I've got a wedding in next year that I've got to save up money for. So he says after buying all these stickers, but I am trying to invest wisely, less often, and obviously send stuff off to SGC and then hopefully get it back and sell it as well. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, obviously please do drop a big like on the video. It does really help. Share the video as well. If you can, that's great. For any football fans or any fans of vintage football or anyone that remembers watching these players, then by all means do share the video. It does really help. Drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Hit that bell icon so that you don't miss a video. And I'll see you on the next Sports Cards UK collection video. Thanks very much.